A single, casual lie from my fiancé was all it took for her soon-to-be husband to call off the wedding and leave the country. My friends all joked that I was overreacting, but I knew better. This lie didn't come from nowhere. By the time she realized I was gone, I was already on another continent. But when she pulled out her phone, she froze. After 3 years together, she didn't even know my number. It was only then that she began to understand just how out of touch she really was. Ethan, the European tech division is on the verge of collapse. It's your baby after all. You should. Mr. Davis's voice trailed off, but I knew exactly what he was going to say. The advanced propulsion system I developed had doubled the corporation's profits. But just as I was about to head to Europe to take over as president of that division and really make my mark, my fiancée, Chloe, begged me not to go, so I stayed in Chicago. I handed over my patents, but no one else had the expertise to manage the project. Now, I was the only one who could save it. I'll go, I said. Mr. Davis audibly held his breath for a second before exclaiming, Ethan, you've come to your senses. Don't you worry. When you get back, the vice president position at headquarters is yours. After hanging up, I stared silently at the flickering candles on my birthday cake, the last ember of hope in my heart growing faint. It was already 11 p.m. Chloe wasn't at our door. She was on her junior classmate Leo Miller's Facebook page. The caption read, Tutoring Leo. In the photo, Chloe was helping him with his work, their faces so close they were nearly touching, looking more intimate than a couple head over heels in love. And today was my birthday. Ethan, for your 25th birthday, I'm going to plan a huge surprise. What will you wish for? 3 years ago today, my childhood sweetheart, Chloe, and I had just started our life together. I had just graduated and she was still in school. Our bond, forged since childhood, filled us with hope for the future. Chloe looked at me, her eyes sparkling with dreams, and said, Let's wish that we can be together forever, in a big house, with a little chubby baby of our own. Deal, I had said. I could never forget that innocent girl, my first love, who always said she was going to marry me. I worked myself to the bone to put her through grad school. For her future, I poured myself into my research day and night, turning down several opportunities to work abroad. Meanwhile, Chloe was always busy with seminars and papers, and the distance between us grew. I would move mountains to find a spare hour for her, while she seemed to invent reasons to be busy. The last message on my phone was her apology from that afternoon. Something urgent came up tonight. I'll be home a little late. So this was her urgent matter, hanging out with a college kid. I gave a bitter smile. It wasn't that Chloe didn't have time. She just spent it on other people. The dinner I'd made was cold, and the candles had nearly burned down to nothing. Since no one was here to celebrate with me, I just have to make a wish on my own. Whatever hopes I once had for Chloe dissolved into thin air at that moment. I looked at the dying flames of the candles and slowly closed my eyes. For my 25th birthday, my wish is this, to leave Chloe, to leave her for good. Then I blew out the candles. When Chloe finally got home, it was after midnight. She opened the door to find me sitting on the sofa, silently smoking a cigarette. The table was spotless, the candles on the cake long since extinguished. I thought you quit smoking. Why are you starting again? Chloe asked, covering her nose with a look of annoyance. She quickly smoothed her expression and came over to the sofa. That's so bad for you, put it out. Look, I know I missed your birthday, but how about I relight the candles so you can make a wish? My face, hidden in the shadows, was perfectly calm, but inside, a storm of emotions was raging. I slowly exhaled a ring of smoke. What were you so busy with tonight? I asked, my voice low. Honestly, I just wanted to hear the truth from her, just once, before I left. Chloe froze for a second, sensing something was off, then recited her prepared answer. I have a major paper due for publication tomorrow. My advisor pointed out some errors, so I was at the library fixing them. Hearing her lie so smoothly, without a blush or a falter, I let out a short, sharp laugh and crushed the cigarette out in the ashtray. Even though I had expected it, a bitter pang of disappointment twisted inside me, pulverizing what little hope I had left. Seeing me put out the cigarette, Chloe tried to explain herself before quickly changing the subject. Ethan, I know I messed up. I got you a present. Let's have some cake. She pulled a brand new gift box from her bag and then, without waiting for me, picked up a lighter to relight the candles. Just then, her phone, sitting on the coffee table, buzzed. I glanced over and saw a few iMessage notifications from Leo Miller. Chloe, did you get home okay? Thanks again for today. I'll take you out for a nice dinner to make it up to you. Along with the overly familiar messages was a sticker with a heart emoji. The phone's wallpaper was a photo of Chloe and me kissing, a sight that now seemed pathetic and ironic. A sharp pain lanced through my chest. I opened the gift box. Inside was an expensive-looking watch, but I felt no joy. It was the exact same model Leo was wearing in his Facebook photos. It looked like she'd bought one for him and just grabbed a second one for me as an afterthought. "Thanks," I said flatly, tossing the watch into a drawer without a second look. In the past, I would have been furious, demanding to know what was going on. But now, it just didn't matter anymore. My heart had been broken too many times. I was done fighting for this. Chloe didn't notice the finality in my eyes, or the way my face, once a mask of pain, had settled into a calm smile of release. I was going to make my wish come true. I was going to leave just like this. I wanted nothing more to do with this woman. We hadn't even cut the cake when her phone rang. Chloe practically ran to grab it. "Ethan, my advisor just called. I have to help Leo with his thesis. You can have the cake." Without a moment's hesitation, she disappeared into the study and shut the door. The second Leo's name came up, Chloe couldn't even be bothered to keep up the pretense. She hadn't even asked me what I wished for. The living room fell silent once more. I quietly scraped the cake into the trash can and went to bed. When I woke up the next morning, the apartment was empty. All I wanted was to get out of there, so I immediately started packing for my trip. I took down every photo of us in the bedroom, every memento, big or small. The painting she gave me when she first told me she loved me, I tossed it in the trash. Next, I went into the study. The moment I walked in, I saw the desk covered in books and papers. I frowned, picking up a textbook on aerospace engineering. The name inside the cover was Leo Miller's. That was my field of study, a world away from Chloe's major in semiconductor physics. I remember when she was choosing her major, I urged her to pick the same one as me so I could help her in her career later. She refused, saying aerospace was too hard and she didn't want to start over. I never imagined she would willingly dive into a difficult subject she hated, all for another guy. The margins were filled with her dense, meticulous notes. I couldn't imagine how many hours she must have poured into it. I felt nothing. I just put the book back on the desk as if I'd never seen it. My phone buzzed. It was an iMessage from Leo. "Chloe's helping me study. Can you do me a favor and bring the textbook she left at your place to campus?" "I'm busy," I typed back. "By the way, Chloe's the one who asked me to message you," he added. I had to laugh at his smug tone. It was clear from his attitude just how much Chloe doted on this kid, making him bold enough to act so entitled. But I had already made my decision to leave, and I couldn't care less about Chloe's drama. "Don't worry about it. I'm not bringing it to you. She can come get it herself."
I'm busy.
I ended the call and went back to packing. Half an hour later, Chloe burst through the front door, her face flushed with anger. "I told you I was helping Leo study. You couldn't even do one simple thing and bring him his book, but you have time to pack? If you jeopardize his academic career, how are you going to make it right?" After that, I didn't even have the energy to argue. I just wrote off every sacrifice I'd ever made for her as a complete waste. Chloe seemed to realize she'd gone too far, muttering a quick sorry before grabbing the book from the study. But as she was leaving, she finally noticed something was off. "What are you doing packing all this stuff? Are you going on a business trip?" "I'm throwing it out," I replied, my face a mask. "I don't want it anymore." Chloe looked like she wanted to say something else, but she just left, closing the door quickly behind her. After I threw the last photograph into the trash, I booked my flight to Germany. Seeing the confirmation screen, I took a long, deep breath of pure relief. In 1 week, I would be gone, completely out of Chloe's life. 2 more days passed. I finished handing off my work responsibilities in Chicago and prepared to contact the aerospace center in Germany. Chloe didn't come home at all last night. Her excuse was that Leo's thesis was on a tight deadline and she'd be staying on campus all week to help him. I couldn't have been more pleased. A knock echoed through the apartment. I opened the door to find my best friend, Mark Johnson. I'd only told him what was happening yesterday, and he had already rushed right over. "Man, you finally came to your senses. I felt so bad for you," Mark said, clapping me on the shoulder. "You already passed up a huge opportunity for Chloe once. You can't back out this time." I tapped a few keys on my laptop and let out a long sigh. "I'm not changing my mind this time." Mark tentatively held out a cigarette, and to his surprise, I took it without hesitation. It was the same brand I'd smoked since high school, the one we always shared when we needed to talk. I hadn't touched one since I quit for Chloe. Mark seemed to understand. His voice softened. "So, have you told her yet?" "There's no point." Mark's eyes fell on the trash bags filled with our photos and mementos. He was quiet for a moment, then it clicked. Even without me saying a word, he understood how much I had put up with over the years. "We've known each other since grade school, man. I've watched you and Chloe grow up together. Honestly, you're a great guy and she doesn't deserve you. For your last night here, I'm getting all the old friends together. We're throwing you a proper send-off." I just nodded. I grew up poor. My mother remarried and my father died when I was young, so all I ever wanted was a stable family of my own. Looking around the apartment, I could still picture Chloe and me on the sofa when we first moved in, talking excitedly about our future. Mark noticed my mood and quickly changed the subject. Dude, what is this you've packed? It's freezing in Germany. You can't go with just this stuff. Come on, I'm taking you out to buy some real winter gear. We picked up a bunch of things, and while we were in a store looking at winter coats, we ran right into Chloe. She was holding hands with Leo, intently helping him pick out a jacket, even zipping it up for him with a caring touch. They looked exactly like a couple in the throes of a new romance. Leo spotted me and made a show of stroking Chloe's cheek. She didn't pull away. My heart turned to ice. As Chloe went to the register to pay for the jacket, Leo walked over to me. Well, since you saw that, I guess there's no point in hiding it, he said, tilting his chin up with a smirk. I'm officially going after Chloe. May the best man win. Don't think for a second I'm going to back down. Mark, standing next to me, heard this and was ready to throw a punch. I held him back and just laughed. Go ahead and try, but you're not important enough to be looking for a reaction from me. My words wiped the smug look right off Leo's face. He'd heard about my academic record. As a student in the same program, he was desperate to prove he was my superior. Do you know why Chloe's falling out of love with you? It's because you're so boring. You have no idea what she really wants. She likes a guy who's young and exciting, a guy who knows how to be romantic. That was it for Mark. He couldn't stand there and watch some kid insult his best friend. He lunged forward and grabbed Leo by the collar. You're not fit to shine my friend's shoes. The way he's treating you today is how she'll be treating you tomorrow. The comment hit a nerve, but Leo didn't fight back. Instead, he just yelled, Go on, hit me. I dare you. Mark obliged, sending him sprawling to the floor with a single punch. I frowned. Not fighting back? That didn't seem like his style. And just as I thought it, Chloe came rushing over. She helped Leo to his feet, her face a mask of concern, then turned to me, her eyes blazing with fury. Ethan, what are you doing? I am so disappointed in you, she yelled. Leo, clutching his face, played the victim. Chloe, don't be mad at him. Ethan's probably just jealous. We have been spending a lot of time together. I told you I was going to be busy with Leo for a while. How can you be so petty and jealous? Chloe said, her voice dripping with concern for Leo as she checked his face for injuries. I saw the whole act and didn't even bother to defend myself. Give me a break. You're a hell of an actor for a grown man. I oughta. Mark started, cracking his knuckles. I just patted his shoulder. Let's go, Mark. But as we walked away with our shopping bags, Chloe's anger turned to confusion. Wait, why are you buying all that stuff? We have perfectly good sheets and blankets at home. They're old, I said without turning around, my voice flat and cold. I'm replacing them. The chill in my tone seemed to unnerve her. She suddenly noticed how lightly I was dressed, a stark contrast to the brand new parka on Leo. A flicker of panic crossed her face. If you needed a new winter coat, you should have just told me. It's not like I wouldn't buy you one. Don't be like this. Just wait until I'm done with this project, and I'll come home and we can have a do-over for your birthday. Okay. I didn't answer, just kept walking. Another 3 days went by. As expected, Chloe didn't come home. She barely even messaged me. If she had, she would have seen that my bags were packed and ready for my flight. Every trace of me had been erased from the apartment. I tore another page off the calendar and sat on the sofa, silently counting down the days. The time flew by, and soon enough, it was my last night in the country. Just as he promised, Mark threw a farewell party for me at a karaoke bar. I pushed open the door to our private room, and my friends all rushed over. To Ethan, on to bigger and better things. Confetti poppers exploded, filling the air with celebration. I stood there for a second, stunned, then broke into a genuine smile. With friends like these, what more could I ask for? Since I was driving, everyone agreed to stick to singing instead of drinking. In the middle of a song, one of our friends piped up, So, Ethan, once you're settled in as the big boss over there, when are you bringing Chloe over? I know how she is. She can't stand to be away from you for a second. Mark's face fell, but before he could intervene, I just smiled and said, That won't be necessary. We're breaking up. The room went dead silent. My friends stared at me, stunned. I acted like I hadn't just dropped a bomb. Just then, the door swung open, and in walked Chloe, wearing a white dress, with Leo stuck to her side. You guys are having a party for Ethan and you didn't tell me? I brought Leo along so you two could get to know each other better and clear the air. Mark couldn't hold back. What is he doing here? This is Ethan's. But I cut him off. It's fine. Sit down. See? I told you Ethan was a great guy, Leo said with a smirk, pulling Chloe even closer. Chloe insisted we all play a drinking game. My friends, not wanting to ruin the mood, played along, but they made a point of targeting Leo. In response, Leo made sure to drag me into it, ordering a shot for me after every single round. Before long, a line of shot glasses sat in front of us. As the crowd cheered, Chloe stood up. Leo's not much of a drinker. He's still young. I'll take his for him. And with that, she downed his shot. Leo looked at me, a challenge in his eyes. Chloe drank for me, so you can't back out now. Fine, Mark cut in. If she's drinking for him, I'm drinking for my friend. He then shot Chloe a cold look. Ethan drove here tonight. Surely you haven't forgotten that. Chloe's face fell, and she glanced at me. But my expression was unreadable, and she seemed to decide she hadn't done anything wrong. Well, I'll just play with Leo then. You can take a break, Ethan. The two of them got more and more into the game, their laughter filling the room. I just sat in the corner and lit a cigarette. This wasn't about my birthday. This was about her trying to force me to accept Leo. Everything she was doing was for his benefit. But since I had already decided to move on, it didn't matter. I picked up the microphone and started to sing. It was a song Chloe used to love, one we had sung together 100 times. But she was too busy laughing and joking with Leo to even notice. When a great love runs aground, you wake up and learn to let go. I sang the last line. Felt like she had missed more than just the lyric. The song was over, and soon everything else would be too. At 1 a.m., we all left the karaoke bar to get some food. But Chloe, worried about a drunk Leo, insisted on taking him back to his dorm first. Since it was hard to hail a cab, she asked me to drive. My headlights cut through the darkness on the narrow road. I felt a chill and rolled up the window. Suddenly, the car hit a patch of ice and skidded out of control, veering toward the side of the road. With a sickening crunch, we slammed into a tree. Thick smoke immediately started pouring from the hood. When my head cleared, I saw the front of the car was completely crushed. Leo in the passenger seat and I were both pinned, our legs trapped. To make matters worse, the electronics were fried. The power locks were dead. The doors wouldn't open. Within seconds, the damaged battery ignited, and flames erupted from the engine. The sight of the fire shocked Leo sober. He started frantically shoving at his door, but it wouldn't budge. "Help me, I don't want to die," he screamed. I gritted my teeth and tried to smash the window with my elbow, but it wouldn't break. I pulled out my keys and started hammering at the glass, but I couldn't get enough force. We needed someone hitting it from the outside. Hearing me, Chloe scrambled out of the back seat. Leo started hammering at his window, just like I was. We all knew that with the engine on fire, the car could explode at any second. If we didn't get out now, we were dead. The flames grew higher. Chloe stood outside, frozen, hesitating over which window to break first. Leo, sweating and terrified, screamed, "Quick, Chloe, get me out first. I don't want to die." Chloe looked at him, panicked, and started to move toward his side of the car. But then she stopped, hesitated, and turned to look at me. My heart skipped a beat. In this life or death moment, could it be that our years together still meant something to her? Was she hesitating because she was going to choose me? But in the next instant, she ran to the passenger side door. "Ethan, Leo's been drinking. I'll get him out first, and then I'll come right back for you." When I heard those words, my hands stopped moving. All the pain and disappointment of the past few years washed over me like a tidal wave, and then it was gone. I started to laugh, laughing at myself for taking 20 years to finally see someone for who they really were. Laughing because even after I saw the truth, I still held out hope for a miracle that would never come. My face was blank, my movements mechanical. Leo finally shattered his window, cutting his hand on the glass. "Leo, you're bleeding. Let me help you." Chloe's panic was palpable. She pulled him from the car and immediately helped him away from the wreck, fussing over his small cut. I don't know how long I was trapped. Eventually, a few passersby stopped and helped get me out. Luckily, I only had minor injuries. 2 hours later, the police had finished clearing the scene. Chloe had taken Leo to the hospital long ago. I didn't even bother with the insurance claim for the car. I just went home to pack my last few things. My flight was at 8 a.m. I had 4 hours left, just enough time to say one last goodbye. I sent Chloe a single iMessage, "I need to talk to you," but there was no reply. 2 hours passed. My airline sent flight reminders again and again. Still nothing from her. I quietly stood up, changed into the new designer suit I'd bought, bandaged my cuts, and washed my face. Just as I was about to leave for the airport, a message finally came through. "Leo got hurt in the crash. I'm at the hospital with him. I'll be home later. His project is done, so this time, I promise I'll make it all up to you." On his Facebook, I could see Leo's injury was just a scratch, yet Chloe was doting on him. I laughed. Without a second of hesitation, I deleted her number from my phone. I left a letter for her on the coffee table. On the envelope, I wrote a single sentence, Chloe, we're done. After that, I took one last look at the apartment we had called home and walked out without turning back. The winter morning was dark. Even at 8 a.m., the sky was still a dull, heavy gray. Chloe walked into the hospital room with breakfast. Leo, you mentioned you have a sensitive stomach, so I just got you some oatmeal. You shouldn't have, Chloe. Taking care of me, and now you have to eat bland oatmeal with me, Leo said with a grin, leaning into her as he took the bowl. But she paused, a memory suddenly surfacing. She remembered when I was sick in college. I was so buried in my research that I often skipped meals and developed an ulcer. Chloe, still in high school back then, would cut class just to bring me breakfast. This oatmeal is so warm, he said. They huddled together for warmth. A memory of my voice echoed in her mind. They say you should never let down the girl who's willing to eat oatmeal with you when you're sick. Just give me 5 years, Chloe. By the time I'm 25, I'll give you the world. I promise I'll never let you down. She remembered my earnest, flushed face and her own firm nod. And I'll never let you down either. The roar of a jet engine shattered the memory. Chloe looked up at the plane streaking across the sky, and a strange sense of panic seized her. Ethan had been in the front seat, too. She didn't even know if he was hurt. She hadn't even asked. Chloe, what's wrong? Leo's voice broke through her thoughts. Can you help me with this bandage? Then I can get discharged. At Leo's urging, Chloe rationalized her actions to herself. If Ethan was hurt, he would have come to the hospital on his own. He was a 25-year-old man, after all. Leo was just a kid who needed looking after. After finishing up at the hospital, Chloe dropped Leo back at his dorm. It was noon by then, and for some reason, she couldn't shake a feeling of deep unease. Ever since the day she saw me packing, things had felt different, but she'd been so focused on Leo that she hadn't paid it any mind. I need to talk to you. Seeing my message from the night before, Chloe rushed home. What could Ethan possibly want to talk about? He hadn't been at work lately. Had he been fired? Was he sick? She racked her brain for clues, but came up empty. She scrolled through their iMessage history and was shocked to see they had only exchanged a handful of texts in the last week, and even fewer the week before. How had things gotten this bad? Chloe pushed the thought away, suddenly realizing she had no idea what was going on in my life anymore. Ever since Leo had entered the picture, she and I had drifted miles apart. That ominous feeling returned. She thought back to the incident at the mall. That was it. Ethan must have seen her with Leo and gotten the wrong idea. All she had to do was explain everything, calm him down, and it would all be fine. Her mind racing with excuses, Chloe sprinted up the 4 flights of stairs to our apartment and threw open the door. She was ready to talk, but the apartment was empty. She stood there, completely stunned. A dead silence filled the space. Every trace of Ethan Carter was gone, as if he had never lived there at all. Chloe's hands began to shake as she grabbed her phone. Her last message to me had a red exclamation point next to it, not delivered. When she tried to call, all she got was the cold, automated voice of the operator. She forced herself to look at the sofa, my favorite spot. Everything was in its place. For a second, she could almost see me sitting there, smiling as I put out a cigarette. You're home. Look what I got you. But the vision vanished in an instant. The ashtray was empty. The only thing on the coffee table was a single white envelope. Dazed, Chloe stumbled forward and picked up the letter that had been waiting for her. We're done. The room spun, and Chloe collapsed onto the sofa. Her world was crumbling around her, the terrible possibility she'd ignored finally becoming a reality, striking her like a physical blow. Numb, she forced herself to read on. Thank you for being with me for a fifth of my life, but barring some unforeseen event, we will never see each other again. My birthday wish, you see, was to leave you for good. Affection that comes too late is like a beached whale, beautiful but helpless. Remember when we were kids, how we dreamed of going to the amusement park? We'd play house on a park bench and stare at the Ferris wheel, our eyes wide with wonder. We kept waiting and waiting, and by the time we were old enough to go on our own, the magic was gone. I've waited long enough, Chloe. I don't want it anymore. The further she read, the more the tears blurred her vision. 20 years of memories flashed through her mind, a slideshow of moments that had once seemed so precious and now felt so cheap. My words grew shorter, colder. The letter ended with a few simple lines. Let's just part ways amicably. I don't want to be in love with you anymore. Ethan Carter. Her eyes fell on the empty space below my name. The finality of it felt like having her oxygen cut off. Her breath hitched, and the dam finally broke. Tucked behind the letter were bank statements and a deed. I had left her everything, all $1 million of my life savings, and the title to the apartment. Every last cent was accounted for. I had kept my promise to give her a comfortable life, and she had betrayed me completely. Ethan, I don't want any of this. Chloe scrambled to her feet, tossing the papers aside. Overwhelmed by grief, she couldn't think straight. Her only thought was to find me. Day after day, she searched. She went to the police. She went to my old office at Astrotech, but no one could tell her anything. On the verge of a breakdown, she happened to walk past the mall where she'd seen us. Mark had been with me when I bought all those supplies. He had to know something. She rushed to the karaoke bar and begged the receptionist for Mark's number. "Hello? Is this Ethan's girlfriend?" After a pause, a cold laugh came through the phone. "Girlfriend? I didn't know Ethan had a girlfriend. If that's all, I'm hanging up." "Wait," Chloe said quickly. "I just want to know where Ethan went." Before she could finish, Mark exploded. "Are you kidding me? Cut the crap with this devoted girlfriend act and go back to your little boy toy. Why can't you just leave Ethan alone? You want to torture him for the rest of his life." "I'm sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen," Chloe sobbed. "Sorry doesn't cut it. Where was all this concern before? It's a little late now, don't you think? Get lost and stop bothering Ethan." He blocked her number. Undeterred, she found the numbers of our other friends and called them one by one. The response was always the same: "Get lost," followed by the click of the line going dead. By the time she dialed the last number on her list, Chloe was desperate. If this person didn't know, she might never see me again. After she begged him for nearly half an hour, he finally cracked. "Look, just give it up. Ethan's in Germany. You're not going to find him." Germany. It was the lifeline she needed. She frantically searched through her phone and finally found it. A clue from 2 years ago, when I was first offered the position in Germany. She had been so upset about the possibility of me leaving. A quick search revealed the truth. The project I was supposed to lead was a multi-billion-dollar international partnership with DLR, the German Aerospace Center. I had given all that up for her. The weight of what she had done crashed down on her, and consumed by guilt, she raced to the airport. Berlin in winter was just as I'd imagined, the outskirts gray and cold. The company had set me up with a nice apartment and assigned me an assistant, a bright young woman named Lily Evans who had studied abroad here. "You'll get used to it," Lily said with a cheerful smile. "I felt the same way when I first got here, but it grows on you. Besides, once this project is wrapped, you'll be promoted to vice president." I nodded. This was a major international project. The rocket development was in its 3rd generation. If I could solve the issues with the propulsion unit, we'd be ready for launch in 6 months. My mind was completely consumed by the project. I barely noticed Lily saying goodbye as her bus pulled away. As the exhaust cleared, I saw a thin figure across the street, slowly walking toward me. I was confused for a moment, but as she got closer, I recognized her. A faint ripple of surprise passed through me, and then, nothing. It was Chloe, and she looked a mess. Her hair was unkempt, and she was wearing clothes far too thin for the cold. I couldn't imagine how she had managed to find me all the way out here. "Ethan!" she cried, her eyes filled with a desperate excitement, her voice hoarse. "I'm so sorry. I didn't move. I just stood there with my hands in my pockets, watching her. I'm so sorry, Ethan. I was wrong." She rushed toward me, her arms outstretched as if to embrace me, but then she stopped short. She looked scared, cautiously watching for my reaction. I remained perfectly still, my expression unreadable, my eyes as calm and empty as a frozen lake. "What do you want?" I asked, my voice polite and distant, as if speaking to a stranger. "I came here to apologize." Before Chloe could finish, I turned and walked away. She hurried after me, her heart pounding in her chest. We walked in single file, a parody of all the times we used to walk home together. But this time, when I saw her hands, red and raw from the cold, I didn't pull them to my chest to warm them. I didn't offer her my coat. After a few blocks, I walked into a small restaurant. Chloe followed me in, trailing behind me like a guilty child. To her surprise, I ordered 2 steaks. I slid one of the plates across the table to her without making eye contact. "Eat this and then go home," I said. Chloe stared at me, then started to plead. "Ethan, we've known each other for 20 years. I can't live without you." "We broke up," I stated simply. She wouldn't give up. "We can get back together. I know I messed up. I know I did so many things wrong. Please, just give me one more chance." I sliced my steak cleanly in 2. "Give me one good reason." "A reason?" Chloe froze. It was only then that she realized she didn't have one. Everything she'd ever done, every expectation she'd ever had, was based on the simple fact that I loved her. I had given her everything, and she had nothing to offer in return. She fell silent. I said nothing. When the meal was over, I got up and walked out. Chloe didn't follow me this time. She just watched me go, her eyes welling with tears. "I will win you back," she vowed to herself. She hadn't been there for me before, but it wasn't too late to start now. And so it began. She started following me everywhere, showering me with gifts. She was always there, at my apartment, at the office, waiting for me every morning at 7 a.m. sharp. The office mailroom started to look like a high-end department store. Chloe seemed to think this was what sacrifice looked like, that these grand gestures could win me back. But I never gave her so much as a glance. I even started taking a different route home just to avoid her. A week went by. Lily walked into the lab holding another gift box. This is from her. What should I do with it? I was in the middle of a critical simulation, being interrupted. A flash of annoyance crossed my face. Throw it out. From now on, just throw anything she sends in the trash. Don't even tell me about it. Lily nodded. She glanced at her phone, hesitated, then handed it to me. She's been calling the main office line, asking for you. I took the call and learned that Chloe had been detained by immigration. Her visa had expired, but she had refused to leave the country. She had spent all her money on gifts for me and now couldn't even afford the fine or a plane ticket home. I sighed, told my team to halt the experiment, and rushed out. When I got to the immigration holding facility, I paid her fine and went through all the necessary paperwork to get her released. Watching me through the window, busy taking care of everything, Chloe felt a warmth spread through her, a happiness she hadn't felt in a long time. It was like being back in Chicago, back when I used to wake up early every morning to make her a hot breakfast. See? He still cares, she thought. If she just kept trying, she was sure she could win me back. Chloe stared at my back, afraid to look away, terrified that if she blinked, I would disappear again. When all the paperwork was done, I didn't leave. I just sat down in a chair in the waiting area. Seeing this, Chloe's face lit up. She rushed over and threw her arms around me. You came for me. The next second, I pushed her away. Get away from me, I snarled, my face twisting with a disgust I no longer tried to hide. She looked stunned. What's wrong, Ethan? I thought you'd forgiven me. Forgive you? How am I supposed to forgive you? Do you have any idea how much work I had to stop because of your mess? I have worked my entire life to get to this point, and you seem determined to ruin it all. I grabbed her by the collar. I gave you 20 years of my life. What more do you want from me? What? Tell me. Seeing me on the verge of losing control, Chloe was terrified. In all our years together, she had never seen me like this. It was as if all the resentment I had bottled up for years was finally exploding. I was still in my lab coat, my face pale and drawn, with dark circles under my eyes from lack of sleep. Looking at me, she finally seemed to understand how much pain she had caused. I didn't mean to. Ethan, I'm so sorry. Damn it, Chloe. Is sorry supposed to fix everything? I shoved her away again, fighting back tears. I knew the truth. She wasn't doing any of this for me. She was doing it to ease her own guilt. She had never once stopped to think about what I might need. Chloe, stop being so selfish. I didn't come here to save you. I came here to put you on a plane back home. From now on, stay out of my life. You're exhausting. My words sent Chloe into a panic. She still couldn't understand how she kept making everything worse. My anger cut her to the core, but it wasn't sadness she felt. It was a deeper, more profound guilt, a debt she felt she could only repay with her life. After all, she had brought all of this on herself. You really don't want me anymore? She whispered. I left the plane ticket on the chair and walked out into the morning mist without a backward glance. Ethan doesn't want me. He really doesn't want me anymore. Chloe wanted to run after me, but my final words echoed in her ears. Defeated, she went back to the States. She knew she had made too many mistakes. If she didn't listen to me this time, she would lose any chance she had left. For the next 2 weeks, she barely slept. Before, she could at least see me, even if it was from a distance. Now, all she had were old photographs. She spent her days lost in memories, wondering how she could ever win me back. Desperate for news about me, she started ambushing Mark every few days. You again? Don't you ever give up? He said, finding her waiting by his car as he left work. Please just talk to Ethan for me. You're the only one who can help me. Looking at her disheveled state, Mark just scoffed. Help you? Ethan gave you a million chances. Did you ever take a single one of them? Mark's words hit home. She finally understood. If she had just gone home that week, she would have seen I was leaving. If she had just stood up for me once, just once, things might not have gotten so bad. Ethan was only human. All he ever wanted was for her to choose him. She could only imagine the despair he must have felt, trapped in that burning car, when she chose someone else. What, nothing to say now? Mark said, his voice laced with contempt. You know why you missed all that? Because you were too busy fawning over that little punk. Now that Ethan's gone, you suddenly feel the pain? You're a real piece of work. Chloe shook her head, flustered. It's not like that. Leo is just my student. Still making excuses? Mark roared. You abandoned Ethan for him, you nearly got yourself killed for him, you even started studying a new field for him. If you like him so much, Go be with him. Why are you still harassing Ethan? If it were up to me, I'd have slapped some sense into you a long time ago. The fact that Ethan never laid a hand on you shows how much better he is than you'll ever be. You should be grateful." His words struck her like a bolt of lightning. For the first time, she saw things from my perspective and realized the true extent of her mistakes. She stood there silently until Mark had run out of things to say. "Please," she finally whispered, "ask Ethan to unblock my number. I just want to make one last call." Wanting to finally put an end to the drama for my sake, Mark agreed. Back in Berlin, I had just finished a long day at the lab and was sitting down with a cup of tea. A message came in from Mark, assuring me this would be the last time. I unblocked Chloe's number. "You have 1 minute," I said into the phone. Chloe didn't waste a second. Starting with my birthday, she apologized for everything, leaving nothing out. As her time ran out, her voice grew firm. "Ethan, I know you can't forgive me right now, so just wait. I'm gonna cut Leo out of my life completely. I promise, I won't let you down again." She still thought Leo was the problem. She believed that if she just got rid of him, everything between us would go back to the way it was. I held the phone to my ear, silent. As soon as I unblocked her, a flood of messages came through. Over 999 of them. They were all apologies or reminiscences about our past. It was overwhelming. I didn't know what to say. A strange, complicated feeling churned inside me. My gaze drifted to the corner of my room, to the expensive designer parka she had sent me. It seemed a waste to throw it out, so it was the only one of her gifts I had kept. I had never worn it. I wanted to tell her it was over, that there was no going back. Just then, I heard Mark's voice on her end. "Time's up." As the line went dead, I finally managed to say the words. I'll never know if she heard me. The tea in my hand had gone cold. There was no going back. The winter wind that blew past my window in Berlin eventually reached Chicago, bringing with it the end of the school year. Chloe had to return to campus to prepare for graduation. The moment she arrived, Leo found her. "Great news. My paper was published, and it's getting a lot of attention." Chloe's reply was muted. She handed him a tote bag. "Here are all the things you gave me. I want you to take them back." Leo stared at her, a flicker of panic in his eyes. He'd heard she'd been gone for a few weeks, looking for me, and now this. "What's this all about?" he asked, trying to sound casual. "You can't take back a gift." Ignoring his forced smile, Chloe just pushed the bag into his hands. "Did I do something wrong?" Leo asked, his voice rising in panic. "Just tell me what it is, and I'll fix it. I promise." When Chloe turned to walk away, he hurried after her. "Chloe, at least give me a reason." The word reason seemed to ignite her anger. "You want a reason? Fine. Because of you and your scheming, the man I've known for 20 years left me. That's your reason." Hearing this only made Leo more excited. If Ethan had really broken up with her, this was his chance. She was just upset about the breakup. All he had to do was comfort her while she was vulnerable, and she would become dependent on him. It was a formula that had always worked for him. "I know you're hurting right now," he said, his voice soft and soothing, "but you'll get through this, and I'll be right here with you. How about we go see a movie? Or get a nice dinner?" Chloe just gave him a cold look. "Stay away from me from now on. Focus on your own life." His heart sank. She really wasn't interested in him. It had always been about Ethan. "Don't leave me," he pleaded, grabbing her hand. "You promised you'd always look out for me, that you'd treat me like a little brother. What is it you like so much about Ethan? Tell me. I can be like him." She shook his hand off, disgusted. Even now, all he could think about was being coddled. He was nothing like Ethan. "Let go of me right now, or I'll report you for harassment." She had tried to let him down easy, but his pathetic whining filled her with disgust. The more he acted like a child, the more she missed Ethan's quiet strength. Leo finally let go, his tear-streaked face a mask of resentment. He gritted his teeth. An idea began to form in his mind. 6 months flew by. Spring arrived in Berlin, bringing a welcome warmth to the city. I had just put the finishing touches on the project when a message from Chloe popped up on my phone. Afraid of annoying me, she had taken to sending just one message a day, always right after work hours. "When are you coming home? I miss you." I swiped the notification away just as Lily came over, smiling. "What are you looking at? Let me see." "Just spam," I said. "All right then. Are you coming to the party tonight?" Lily asked, gently massaging my shoulders. "Mr. Davis is throwing a celebration dinner for us now that the project is complete. Wouldn't miss it." Later that night, at the party, Lily and I stood on the balcony, drinks in hand. We clinked our glasses together, looking out at the deep blue of the Berlin night sky. "Thanks for all your hard work these past few months," I said. "I know I'm not the easiest person to work with. Not at all. I actually really like your personality, Lily murmured, gazing at the stars. Everyone says you're reserved, but I think it's more than that. You have a certain quality. It's captivating, just like this city. You have a way with words, I said with a small smile. So what's next for you? I'd like to stay on as your assistant. If they make my position permanent, I can get my residency and stay in Germany for good. She looked at me, her eyes shining. She had been studying abroad for so long, and a quiet loneliness had settled over her. My arrival had given her a new sense of purpose, someone to look up to. Mr. Davis came over to join us. After congratulating me on the project's success, he got right to the point. Ethan, we couldn't have done this without you, but there's something I need to discuss with you. I'm listening. There's been a change of plans. The initial idea was to make you VP of the European division, but headquarters is a bit uneasy. They feel an asset like you is better kept close to home. I frowned. What does that mean? I'm transferring you back to Chicago. You'll still be promoted to vice president, Mr. Davis said, patting my shoulder. And don't worry, the compensation package is identical. $3 million a year, plus bonuses and stock options. You'll have a seat at the table for all major company decisions. I was silent for a moment. The money didn't matter to me, but in the end I nodded. All right. After Mr. Davis left, I didn't speak for a long time. The smile had vanished from Lily's face, replaced by a look of disappointment. Feeling lost? She asked quietly. You know, this thing with her, it doesn't have to be the end of the world. The more you build it up in your head, the harder it will be to move on. She swirled the wine in her glass, the party lights reflecting on her face. I thought about what she said. She was right. She always seemed to understand me, to see right to the heart of the matter. I'll head back tomorrow then, I said. I'll make sure they take care of you here. Lily turned her head away. I knew she was sad to see me go, but she kept her feelings to herself. She knew my confession would likely go unanswered. Don't worry about me. It won't be as much fun around here without you. I'll figure something out. I sensed her disappointment. Well, you take care of yourself. Hopefully, we'll get to work together again someday. I'd like that, she said. The next day, my plane touched down at O'Hare. I was back in Chicago for the first time in 6 months. My friends had booked a table at a fancy restaurant to welcome me home. Well, if it isn't the big shot VP, Mark joked as I walked in. Look at you. Half a year away and you look younger. It's all that cold German air, another friend chimed in. The mood was light and I couldn't help but smile. But then I saw a figure standing in the doorway and my smile vanished. It was Chloe. She was dressed up, looking beautiful, but it couldn't hide the dark circles under her eyes. Her eyes scanned the room, and when they landed on me, months of pent-up emotion seemed to rush out at once. Her voice trembled when she spoke. Ethan, you came back. She must have followed us here, Mark muttered, frowning. He ushered the rest of our friends into our private room. Chloe followed right behind us and grabbed my arm. Ethan, why didn't you tell me you were coming back? You've lost weight. I'll make you a good home-cooked meal. I gently removed her hand from my arm. What does that have to do with you? I asked coolly. Despite my coldness, she kept smiling, undeterred. Mark tried to block her way, but I just shook my head, and he let her pass. Chloe looked overjoyed, as if she had just won a major victory. Ethan, I've been studying aerospace engineering really seriously. I want to work in the same field as you. How long are you back for? Are you staying for good this time? I'm not seeing Leo anymore, I swear. Please, just talk to me. Just then, Leo walked in, grabbing Chloe's arm excitedly. I got an interview. After Chloe had broken things off with him, he had thrown himself into his studies and applied for an internship at Astrotech, thinking it would win her back. What are you doing here? Chloe hissed, her face contorting with anger. I told you we were done. Get out. She had just managed to get close to me again. She wasn't about to let Leo ruin it. I, however, paid them no mind. I had no intention of getting involved in their drama. Their love, their hate, it had nothing to do with me. Mark was about to kick them out, but I just waved my hand. It's fine. Let them stay. After everything that had happened, I was a different person. It would be petty to make a scene, so they both sat down at our table. Chloe made sure to sit next to me, fussing over me, constantly asking me questions and putting food on my plate. Leo, meanwhile, sat at the other end of the table, completely ignored. It was an exact reversal of the scene at my farewell party. When dinner was over, my friends and I got up to leave. Chloe followed right behind me. Leo tried to pull her aside to talk, but she shook him off without a second glance. He was left standing there, watching us leave, his face a mask of bitter resentment. Why? He thought. After all his hard work, Ethan just waltzes back in and takes her away? Later that night, he sent Chloe a barrage of messages. To his surprise, her replies were warm and friendly, a complete change from her behavior at the restaurant. She even asked him for information about Astrotech, saying she had an interview there the next day. Leo was thrilled. He thought she wanted to work with him. After all, she had changed her entire field of study for him. She couldn't be over him that easily. Leo sent her everything she asked for, his heart filled with renewed hope. The next morning, Chloe was waiting for him outside the Astrotech building, her expression once again cool and distant. They went into the conference room to wait for their interviewer. Leo fussed over her, arranging her resume and giving her last-minute tips. As he was imagining their future together as colleagues, I walked in, wearing a gray suit. "Hello, I'm Ethan Carter, Vice President of Astrotech Dynamics. I'll be conducting your interviews today." My face was impassive, the tailored suit making me look older, more serious. Looking at the two of them, I felt nothing. I was only there because I like to be hands-on in the hiring process. I didn't want to miss out on promising new talent. But to Chloe, it must have seemed like I had arranged the whole thing just for her. "Ethan, it is you. You're the VP now? Does that mean you're not leaving again?" Tears welled in her eyes. Bathed in the sunlight streaming through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I must have seemed like a distant, unattainable figure. In that moment, she remembered why she had fallen in love with me in the first place. My drive, my focus, my dedication. "Vice President?" Leo muttered, his face darkening. Seeing the look of adoration on Chloe's face, he finally understood why she had been so friendly the night before. She hadn't been interested in him at all. She was just using him to get to me. The fact that I was back, and in such a high position, had crushed his hopes all over again. The interviews began. I ignored Chloe's attempts to catch my eye and followed the standard procedure. The other two interviewers on the panel, having done their homework, were inclined to reject both of them, but I insisted on being impartial. I hired them both for a probationary period. Chloe was so excited she almost cried. As long as she was at the company, she would have a reason to see me every day. Her lack of technical expertise meant she was placed in an administrative role, but she was determined to work her way up, to become my assistant, to get closer to me. "Ethan, let me get that for you." Watching Chloe constantly trying to ingratiate herself with me, running errands and fetching coffee, Leo's heart sank. Ethan was so brilliant, a VP and chief designer at such a young age, while he was just an intern. How could he ever compete? Despair washed over Leo, followed by a wave of pure, unadulterated hatred. He had to do something that would ruin me completely. Meanwhile, Chloe followed me all the way to my office. When she saw I didn't have an assistant, a small smile played on her lips. "Was there something else?" I asked, my hand on the doorknob. She quickly pulled out a box containing a pair of diamond rings. "I bought these for you." The sight of the rings sent my mind reeling back 2 years. I had seen this exact pair in a jewelry store window. They were engagement rings. I had worked for months to save up enough money to buy them for Chloe, but she had put me off, insisting we wait until she graduated. I had begged her to get engaged, and she had refused. Now here she was begging me. The irony was not lost on me. I barely glanced at the rings. "What are these for?" "I don't need them. I saved up for 6 months to buy them," Chloe said, her voice small. "It's a thank you gift for helping me get the job. You should take them. You're reading too much into it." It was a purely professional decision. I took a step back and closed the door in her face. Her grand gesture, her proof of sincerity, meant nothing to me. She had well and truly broken my heart, and now her attempts to fix it were worthless. This same scene played out every day for the next 2 weeks. Before long, it became the hot office gossip. Hearing people talk about it only fueled Leo's resentment. He worked overtime for 2 solid weeks and finally managed to get assigned to a research project in my lab. This time, he was determined to make me pay. As the lead on a new propulsion system, I was heading up the project myself. After just 1 month, we were already at a critical phase, preparing for the final demonstration. Leo, now with access to the system, planted a virus on the main control console. He waited until Chloe was away from her monitoring station and then deleted the security footage. Everyone else was too busy with the final preparations to notice. The day of the demonstration arrived. In the main presentation hall, I was explaining our new technology to a group of major clients. They were impressed, ready to sign a deal. But when we initiated the test firing, something went terribly wrong. The thruster went haywire, spewing flames toward the observation deck before shutting down completely, the prototype ruined. 5 minutes later, my entire team was in the main conference room. "What the hell happened out there? You could have killed someone," Mr. Davis roared, his face livid. "Our clients are furious, and this company just lost billions of dollars. Who is responsible for this project? I want answers, and I want them now." This was the opening the other executives had been waiting for. "I believe this was VP Carter's project," one of them said. a smug look on his face. For one of our top talents to make such a basic error, perhaps he's not ready for this position. It's not just him. His entire department should be held accountable. Mr. Davis frowned. He couldn't believe that his most reliable engineer, could have made such a catastrophic mistake. He wanted to defend me, but in front of the entire board, he had to maintain a firm stance. Leo was secretly gloating. I, however, slowly stood up. I have detailed logs of the entire testing process. Every step was executed flawlessly. This was not an accident. It was sabotage. Chloe stood up as well. I can vouch for VP Carter. I think we need to investigate this thoroughly before we start pointing fingers. Hearing her speak up, the junior members of my team, who had been too intimidated to speak, found their courage and voiced their support for me. The other executives were silenced. Mr. Davis, seeing his opportunity, seized it. All right, I'll smooth things over with the client. You have 5 days to deliver a working prototype. Seeing me escape punishment, with Chloe defending me no less, the smug satisfaction vanished from Leo's face. Why could he never beat me? Why did Chloe still trust me, still protect me? He had been so close to getting rid of me. He couldn't let this chance slip away. An idea began to form in his mind, a way to take care of both of us at once. A slow smile spread across his face. I walked into my office to find Chloe bustling about, organizing files. I frowned. Who let you in here? I wanted to help you with the investigation. Don't worry, Ethan. I'll find whoever did this to you. Out, I said, my voice flat. I tapped my finger on the desk. The security logs from the monitoring station were deleted. If you hadn't been so busy running up here every 5 minutes, you would have been at your post, and this wouldn't have happened. Just do your job. If this happens again, you're fired. I sank into my chair and stared out the window. I never should have hired her. Chloe just stood there, stunned, before finally turning and leaving my office. She always seemed to make things worse, but she couldn't stop trying to help. This misunderstanding was spiraling out of control. She had to find the real culprit, or I would hate her forever. With the prototype destroyed, I had no choice but to work around the clock to build a new one from scratch. My team offered to help, but I turned them down. I couldn't trust anyone. I would do it myself. For 5 days, I lived in the lab, barely eating or sleeping. This gave Leo the opening he needed. Every night, while I was engrossed in my work, he would sneak into the lab and crank the air conditioning down as low as it would go. Already exhausted, I soon came down with a raging fever, but I pushed through it. I knew this was the most important challenge I had faced since returning to Chicago. If I failed, my career here was over. I had always been one to carry my burdens alone. That hadn't changed. On the day of the second demonstration, I ran diagnostics over and over again before I was ready to begin. Mr. Davis had managed to lure the clients back with a hefty discount, but they were still skeptical. I addressed them directly. Ladies and gentlemen, to make up for our previous failure, I present to you the second-generation model, with significantly improved engine power and efficiency. And I will make you this promise. If this prototype fails in any way, I will resign from this company, effective immediately. My confidence seemed to win them over. They agreed to see the demonstration. The next second, a brilliant blue flame erupted from the engine, a perfect mock diamond pattern forming in its core. The room was stunned into silence. The other executives were speechless. They had finally seen what I was capable of. The clients were ecstatic. They doubled their initial order on the spot. As the entire company celebrated, the fever finally caught up with me, and I collapsed. Ethan, Chloe was the first to rush to my side. With the help of others, she got me to the hospital. The doctor said my condition was serious. Years of overwork had worn down my immune system, and they were struggling to get the fever under control. 2 days later, Chloe was in the security office, frantically reviewing footage, when Leo showed up with a container of chicken soup. Chloe, you haven't eaten in days. You need to take care of yourself. I'm not hungry. Take it away, she said, not looking up from the screen. You should eat, Leo insisted. This is my grandmother's special recipe. It's guaranteed to make you feel better. That got her attention. Your grandmother's recipe? She asked. Give it to me. That evening, after work, Chloe rushed to the hospital, carrying a thermos of soup she had spent hours preparing herself. She had spared no expense, buying only the finest ingredients. Stop right there, Mark said, blocking the doorway to my hospital room. He put out his cigarette. What are you doing here? Ethan doesn't want to see you. It's okay, you don't have to let me in. Just give him this soup for me. He's so weak. He needs his strength. Mark was about to refuse, but he knew I hadn't been eating well. He took the thermos inside. Chloe stood outside the door, waiting, hoping I would enjoy the soup. A moment later, Mark burst out of the room, yelling, "Nurse! Nurse! My friend is throwing up. Get in here. A team of nurses rushed into the room. After a quick examination, they determined I was having an allergic reaction. Mark stormed out, holding the thermos. He grabbed Chloe by the collar. Are you insane? Don't you know Ethan is allergic to wolfberries? Are you trying to kill him? What? He's allergic. Chloe was stunned. She looked at the herbs she had used, now in the trash can. I thought they were good for you. You think you're so thoughtful, don't you? Mark said with a bitter laugh. You've known him for 20 years. Have you ever once paid attention to him? If you had ever cooked for him just once, you would know about his allergies. Hell, I know about them, and I'm not the one who was supposed to marry him. His words left Chloe pale and speechless. She felt a burning shame spread through her. She finally understood why her attempts to help always went so wrong. She had never really paid attention to me. I knew she hated cilantro, that she was allergic to shellfish. I always made sure to order food she could eat, but she didn't even know about my allergies. She had almost killed me. I'm so sorry, Ethan, she sobbed, finally understanding the true depth of her failure. Helpless and terrified, all she could do was repeat her apologies. The patient is having convulsions. Get me an oxygen tank, now, a nurse yelled, ushering them out of the room. For the next half hour, Mark cursed her out, using every foul word he knew. Chloe just stood there, broken, before finally sinking to her knees in the hallway outside my room. He's lucky he didn't actually swallow any of it. It could have sent him into anaphylactic shock, the nurse said, coming out of the room. She gave Chloe a stern look. You shouldn't give a patient food without knowing their medical history. You could have killed him. Chloe nodded numbly, then rushed back into my room and knelt by my bed. My face was covered in a red rash. I just stared at the ceiling. Mark sighed. He was done yelling. He just waited to see what I would do. I'm sorry, she whispered. You don't have to apologize to me, I murmured, my voice hoarse. This is just my life. Don't say that. It was all my fault. I've spent the last 6 months thinking about what I did. I was a selfish, horrible person. I failed you. She slapped herself hard across the face. Twice. Ethan, hit me, scream at me, I don't care. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. I was silent for a moment. I don't need that, I said. The best way you can make it up to me is to leave me alone. She knelt there in the dim light of the hospital room for 10 minutes before finally, shakily, getting to her feet. I had told her to go, so she left. From that day on, the office gossip changed. Chloe stopped coming to my office. The gift stopped. She just quietly did her work. No one knew that she still glanced at my office door every time she passed it. No one knew that she spent her days in the security office, watching the camera feeds, from morning until night. One day, Chloe walked up to Leo's desk. Chloe, what can I do for you? Leo said, a wide smile spreading across his face. His plan had worked. She was finally coming to him. He felt like his life was about to change. You've finally come to your senses, haven't you? Chloe, no matter what he does to you, I'll always be here for you. I love you. His declaration of love was met with silence. Chloe simply opened his desk drawer and pulled out a black USB drive. Leo, she said, her voice trembling with cold fury, is there anything you want to tell me? The color drained from Leo's face. I don't know what you're talking about. I found that drive. I don't even know what's on it. I've reviewed every second of security footage from the last month, Chloe said. I know everything. She had watched every video twice, searching for the truth. While she never saw Leo at the main control console, she had found footage of him sneaking around the lab with that same USB drive. She knew it was the key. No matter how much he denied it, when the IT department confirmed the drive contained the virus, it was all over. Chloe, please don't, he begged. If you turn me in, my life will be ruined. Did you think about that when you were trying to ruin Ethan? Chloe asked, her voice shaking with rage. I didn't mean to. I just wanted to download a file. I didn't know it had a virus. Leo immediately switched tactics, playing the victim, even banging his head on the floor until he drew blood. Seeing him so pathetic and broken, Chloe felt a pang of pity. It reminded her of her own desperate pleading with me. She had known him for a while now. Surely he wasn't truly evil. Seeing her hesitate, Leo smiled inwardly. He still had her wrapped around his finger. She must still have feelings for him. My dearest Chloe, you know I would never do something like that on purpose, he sobbed. I never blamed Ethan. I know this is all my fault. I've been trying so hard to make things right between you two. Chloe's resolve began to waver. But then, she spotted a piece of paper on his desk. It was a medical report, and the name on it was Ethan Carter. Why do you have his medical report? She asked. Leo had no answer. He could only watch as she picked it up. Chloe stared at the paper, stunned. The page was covered in red flags. a compromised immune system, a list of 5 severe allergens. And on that list was wolfberry. It all clicked into place. Leo, you're a monster. Leo's face burned with shame. His brief moment of triumph had evaporated, replaced by pure terror. I know I was wrong. Please, don't turn me in. I'll apologize to Ethan. I'll do anything he wants. Get out of my sight, Chloe said, her voice a hoarse whisper, her eyes red with fury. If she had never gotten involved with Leo, none of this would have happened. The image of me, pale and unconscious in that hospital bed, flashed in her mind, and a sharp pain lanced through her heart. Leo, I will never forgive you. Stay away from me. Chloe slapped the medical report across his face and stormed out, heading straight for Mr. Davis's office. An hour later, a company-wide announcement was made, and the police arrived to investigate. Leo's actions constituted corporate espionage and criminal endangerment. He was fired immediately. His belongings were thrown out onto the street. He sat on the curb, a broken man. All he had wanted was to win Chloe back. Was that so wrong? His love, his career, his future, everything he had worked for was gone. His former colleagues looked at him with disgust. Meanwhile, I was being hailed as a hero, celebrated by the entire company. The stark contrast warped his mind. Ethan Carter, this is all your fault, he screamed as the police led him away. I'll get you for this. I swear it. After he was gone, a sense of calm returned to the office. For her role in uncovering the sabotage, Chloe was offered a permanent position. Mr. Davis even offered her a promotion. So what will it be? Marketing or management? He asked, having called her into his office at the end of the day. You'd be a good fit for either. Just say the word, and the job is yours. Chloe hesitated for a moment. Could I be an assistant? An assistant? That's an administrative role, Mr. Davis said, confused. Whose assistant did you have in mind? VP Carter's. I'm afraid that's not possible. He already has one. Chloe stared at him, speechless. You didn't know? A new girl started today. She interned with us in Berlin, so we brought her on full-time. Down in the parking garage, I unlocked my car. Let me give you a ride. The train station is a bit of a walk from here. I said to Lily, I'm still surprised to see you. What made you decide to come back to the States? My program ended, Lily said, sticking her tongue out playfully. What, you're not happy to see me? Am I that awful? Of course not, I said, gently pinching her cheek. You're just putting words in my mouth. We had just gotten into the car when Chloe appeared. She stared at Lily in the passenger seat, her face a mask of shock and disbelief. Who is she? She demanded. Before I could answer, Lily smiled sweetly and leaned against my shoulder. Hi, I'm Lily. I'm Ethan's assistant and his girlfriend. Can we help you with something? The sight of this younger, prettier girl sent a wave of jealous rage through Chloe. Just when she thought she might have a chance, it was all over. In that moment, she finally understood the pain and helplessness I had felt, but for her, it was 1,000 times worse. Ethan, she's lying, isn't she? She just started today, Chloe said, a brittle smile on her face. Just tell me, yes or no. I've been giving you your space. I've been trying to do the right thing. Please, just tell me the truth. I gripped the steering wheel, my expression unreadable. It wasn't true, but I couldn't go back to the way things were. I wasn't in love with Chloe anymore, and I didn't feel sorry for her. We're together, I said. We met in Germany, Lily added. Is there anything else, Miss Anderson? Chloe just shook her head, a look of utter despair on her face. She could only watch as we drove away, clinging to the last shreds of her dignity. Inside the car, Lily turned to me. Has it been like this every day since you got back? More or less. She's certainly persistent. It seems she really can't let you go, Lily said, then asked tentatively. Do you still have feelings for her? I shook my head. I don't know why everyone keeps asking me that. If you can fall in love with someone, you can fall out of love with them. There's nothing in this world you can't get over. If it feels like there is, you just haven't given it enough time. That makes sense, Lily said with a smile. So, are you going to buy me dinner as a thank you? I don't think VPs are supposed to buy their assistants dinner, I said, a small smile playing on my lips. But since you did help me out back there, I'll make an exception. Just this once. Yes, Lily cheered, looking happily out the window. She had worked for months to finish her degree early so she could come back to the States. Luckily for her, I hadn't gotten back together with Chloe. I had known for a while how she felt about me. I had kept the assistant position open for her. But things in my life were still too unsettled. I wasn't ready to start something new. I've always been a serious, committed person. I'm not the type to be half-hearted about things. At the restaurant, Lily ate with gusto, practically inhaling her food. She'd been in Germany for so long, she had a new appreciation for the food back home. Watching her eat with such uninhibited joy, I couldn't help but smile. I always felt so at ease when I was with her. "Let me ask you something," Lily said, wiping her mouth. "What are you looking for in a wife?" I didn't answer her question. Instead, I asked one of my own. "What are you looking for in a husband?" "Someone like you," she said, then smiled, her cheeks flushing. The late afternoon sun slanted through the window, illuminating her face. Looking at her, I felt something stir inside me, a feeling I thought had died long ago. In the weeks that followed, Lily and I grew closer. We stopped trying to hide our feelings for each other, and Chloe saw it all. The last of her hope began to fade as she watched me slip further and further away. But she never bothered me. She just swallowed her pain and kept it to herself. One night, I came home to my new house. I have no idea how she found the address, and she was waiting for me. "Ethan, can you come home with me?" she asked. Her eyes were red, and she was clearly drunk. "I am home," I said. "What do you want?" "This isn't our home. Our home is the apartment over on the north side. Have you forgotten?" She grabbed my hand. "Remember when we first bought it? We went furniture shopping together." "Enough." I pulled my hand away. "What are you trying to do? What's the point of all this?" "Ethan, I just miss you so much," she sobbed. "The apartment is so empty and cold without you. I feel like I'm going crazy. Please just spend one more day with me. Just one day, and I promise I'll leave you alone forever." I sighed, my expression grim. "I have a girlfriend now, Chloe. This is harassment. You've already ruined one relationship for me. Don't you dare try to ruin another." With that, I turned to go inside. In her drunken state, all Chloe could process was that I was leaving her again, this time for good. She lunged forward and grabbed onto my leg. "Please, Ethan, I'm begging you. Just this one last thing. You promised you would love me forever. It hurts so much, Ethan. It hurts so much. Just stop it." I finally snapped, yelling down at her. "Are you the only one in the world who's in pain? When are you going to grow up? It is over between us. You can ask me 1,000 times, and the answer will always be the same. I would rather spend the rest of my life with a dog than ever be with you again." My cruel words struck her like a physical blow. The cold night air seemed to sober her up in an instant. The last bit of hope in her died. I pulled my leg free and started walking toward the entrance of my building. Just then, a figure burst out of the bushes. "Ethan Carter, I'm going to kill you." It was Leo, his clothes tattered, a knife clutched in his hand. I didn't have time to react. He tackled me to the ground. I struggled, but he was surprisingly strong. "I've lost everything because of you. I'm going to prison anyway, so I might as well take you with me," he cackled, raising the knife to plunge it into my chest. Chloe flew at him, pulling him off me. "Ethan, run. Somebody help. He's trying to kill him. You bitch," Leo screamed, turning on her. "Even now, you're still protecting him." Enraged, he threw Chloe to the ground. "If you love him so much, you can die with him." I saw the flash of the blade, then red. Just then, security guards from the front gate came running, tackling Leo and pinning him to the ground. They loaded Chloe into the ambulance. I was in a daze all the way to the hospital. "Ethan, you're okay," she whispered, her face pale. "Don't talk," I yelled, a storm of emotions raging inside me. "Even if I die, it's okay. I owed you this. I'm sorry for all the trouble I've caused. I just wanted to win you back. I just wanted you to love me again." She tried to smile, and a fresh trickle of blood ran from the corner of her mouth. Her injuries were severe. After 3 hours in surgery, the doctor came out, his face grim. "Doctor, how is she?" I asked. "It's not good. We're losing her and we're running out of her blood type. You should prepare for the worst." My heart sank. I had never imagined it would end like this. No matter what she had done, she didn't deserve to die. I thought of our years together, of the good times, and my eyes filled with tears. I wasn't mourning for the woman she had become, but for the girl she had been, for the future we had lost. We could have had a happy life together. Why did it have to end like this? "Life's complicated," Mark said with a sigh. "I don't know what to think of her anymore. Nothing is ever black and white, is it? It's all just shades of gray. Don't blame yourself for this, Ethan. You did what you had to do." I nodded. I couldn't help but wonder, if I had just agreed to spend that one last day with her, could we have parted peacefully? Just then, a group of doctors rushed past with a cooler full of blood bags. "We got a transfer from the next county over. Get her prepped for transfusion. We can still save her. Move, move, move." A spark of hope ignited in the waiting room. 2 hours later, the doctor came out and told us she was going to make it. I finally let out the breath I had been holding and sank into a chair, completely drained. I went to the police station to give my statement. When I saw Leo, Begging for forgiveness, I slapped him across the face. After he was charged with attempted murder, I went back to the hospital. I stayed by Chloe's side for days, barely sleeping. When Lily heard what had happened, she came to the hospital to help. She understood me. She knew I wasn't doing this out of love, but out of a sense of obligation. I didn't want to be indebted to her. This was the only way Chloe could truly move on. But after her near-death experience, Chloe was different. She didn't cling to me, didn't try to talk about the past. She would just watch me silently as I changed her for drip. She said she felt like she had found a new purpose in life. She said she had finally made peace with everything and was ready to let go. For months later, Chloe was fully recovered and discharged from the hospital. The first thing she did was hand me her letter of resignation. "Miss Anderson, we've already spoken with HR. You're welcome to stay with the company," Lily told her, trying to get her to reconsider. But Chloe just smiled. "Thank you, but this is my decision. Please just have VP Carter sign the form." In my office, I hesitated for a moment, then signed my name. Lily patted my shoulder. "Go on. You two need to say a proper goodbye." I had told her months ago that this day might come, that I might need to spend one last day with Chloe to finally close this chapter of our lives. After we got in the car, she was the one who spoke first. "Let's go to the amusement park." I was surprised, but I started the car. The old amusement park on the outskirts of Chicago was still as crowded as ever. "Thank you for taking care of me," she said as we walked through the park. "I owed you my life. Now I feel like I owe you even more. The moment you saved me, we were even," I said. "Go live your life, Chloe. Don't carry this with you. There's no point." "You're right," she said. "I just never thought you'd agree to come here with me today." She looked around at the bustling crowd. All the happy moments we could have had now seemed like an impossible luxury. Every story has an ending. I reached for a cigarette, then stopped myself. We spent the whole day there, eating cotton candy and buying cheap souvenirs, just like we might have done years ago. I bought her all her favorite snacks. I sat on a bench and watched as she tried on a silly hat in front of a mirror. As the sun began to set, she turned to me. "You always wanted to ride the Ferris wheel, didn't you? My treat." We stepped into the car of the old Ferris wheel, a ride we had dreamed of taking together for years. We had finally made it, but unlike the Ferris wheel, our relationship wouldn't be coming around for a second time. After everything we had been through, we sat in silence for a long time. It was Chloe who finally broke it. "You know, you haven't changed a bit in 20 years. When I first moved into your neighborhood, you were in the sandbox, building a rocket out of sand, and you completely ignored me. My mom told me to stay away from you, said you were a strange kid." "Did she?" I asked, a small, embarrassed smile on my face. "So why did you end up talking to me?" "Because it started to rain," she said simply. "And I had an umbrella." We looked at each other, and we both started to laugh. But as we laughed, Chloe turned her head away. The memories were too much for her, and tears began to stream down her face. I sat there, a ripple of emotion passing through me. How could I forget that bright, vibrant girl who used to follow me everywhere? But that was all in the past. Our story was over. There was nothing left to do. To break the heavy silence, I started talking. We went back and forth, reminiscing about everything from grade school to high school and college. We even found ourselves analyzing our own mistakes, talking through where things had gone so wrong. It felt like we had both finally found some peace. The Ferris wheel was high, and the wind whipped around us. It caught in Chloe's long hair, and the setting sun illuminated her face. She looked beautiful. "Ethan," she said softly, "I'm still in love with you." I nodded. "I know, but I've come to terms with it," she continued. "This past year, you've taught me so much. I've grown up. I'm not that little girl who used to follow you around anymore, and I have to take responsibility for my mistakes." She spoke with a quiet intensity as our car began its descent, knowing this was our last chance to talk. "The ride is almost over," she said, "and the dream has to end. I'm going to move away to a new city. I'll never bother you again. I just hope you'll be happy, Ethan. Truly happy." When the ride stopped, we walked slowly to the park entrance and parted ways at the street corner. There were so many things I wanted to say, but in the end, I kept them to myself. I just watched as Chloe got on a bus and waved to me through the window. "Goodbye, Ethan. Take care of yourself," she mouthed. In the blink of an eye, the bus was gone. The exhaust fumes cleared, but there was no last-minute miracle. Chloe didn't stay. She was really gone. The doubt, the tension I didn't even realize I was holding, it all dissolved into a profound sense of relief that drifted away on the breeze. I let out a long, slow breath. It was time to start my new life. Time passed quickly, and soon it was late autumn again. In all that time, Chloe was like a ghost. She had vanished without a trace. I, on the other hand, had found my footing. I was excelling at work, and my relationship with Lily was blossoming. Before I knew it, my birthday rolled around again. All the memories, good and bad, seemed to finally dissolve as I turned 26. I decided to make it a truly new beginning. It was also the day Lily and I chose for our wedding. Happy birthday, Ethan. And congratulations on the wedding. The reception was full of life and laughter. I kissed Lily, and she kissed me back with all her heart. In that moment, everything felt right. Leave it to Ethan to think of his friends, Mark joked, raising his glass. Holding his birthday and his wedding on the same day, so we only have to buy one present. The crowd roared with laughter. I laughed. Since you brought it up, Mark, you can just bring 2 gifts. Otherwise, you're cut off for the rest of the night. As Mark pretended to make a run for it, a delivery person brought a package to the gift table. Is that your second gift, Mark? Someone called out. Not from me, he said. Who's it from? Everyone was curious. When we opened the box, we found a birthday cake inside. The card was unsigned, but when I saw the inscription on the cake, I understood everything. I couldn't help but smile. It read, "Happy 25th birthday, Ethan."